Namaste. Wish you all a very happy Ganesh Chaturthi. Thanks first to Lord Ganesha and then to the organizers and all of you for giving me this wonderful opportunity and for spending some time with me today on this wonderful auspicious occasion. I'm going to talk a little bit about Ganesha symbolism today. Ganesha, I think we can easily agree, for most people is one of their favorite gods. Like Hanuman, like Shri Krishna, Ganesha endears himself to us. If you look at a picture of Lord Ganesha, you get this vibe of some cuteness, some mischief. He's playful and he's powerful. You can't help but feel some affection along with devotion. So, when you look at a picture or an idol of Ganesha, what's the first thing that you notice? His elephant head, of course. Elephants are some of the most intelligent creatures on this planet. In a forest, when elephants are moving, they lift fallen trees, move them out of the way, they move logs out of the way, and they make a path through thick shrubs and plants that are blocking the way so that the entire herd can move. And then other animals in the forest use this path to navigate around. So, this is exactly what Ganesha does. For us, he removes the obstacles, the hindrances in our path, and he takes us towards our goal. These obstacles or roadblocks in our way, in our life, are called Vigna. And he makes sure that he removes these Vigna, and hence he is called Vigneshwara or Vigna Vinayaka. And also, he is someone who will definitely help us reach our goal. He'll make it happen, and that is why he's called Siddhi Vinayak. He gets it done. Karya Siddhi Vinayaka. Now let's talk about. We said he has an elephant head, right? He also has those big elephant ears, and those big ears are for good listening, for being a patient listener. And when we put forth our requests, our prayers, our pleas, he will definitely be a good listener and he will make our wishes come true. And just like him, we must also learn to be good listeners. Now let's move on to Ganesha's 4 hands. What does he have in his hands? In one of his hands, he holds a broken tusk. So Ganesha has one full tusk and one broken tusk. Why is that so? There's a story behind it, and let's dive right into it. So the great epic Mahabharata, which everyone has heard of, the story of the Pandavas and the Kauravas. I'm sure you've heard many stories about Arjuna, Bhima, Krishna. So this epic was composed by the great sage Vedavyasa. Now Vedavyasa happens to be the grandfather of the Pandavas and the Kauravas. The entire saga unfolded before his very eyes. Vedavyasa outlived his grandchildren and his great-grandchildren. So when the entire war had happened and everything was done, Lord Brahma called Vedavyasa and said, I want you to record this. I want you to write down everything that you have seen so that future generations like us can benefit from it, can read it, can enjoy the story and take some life lessons from it. Vedavyasa agreed and he said, Swami, I can compose the Mahabharata, but I need someone to write it. I cannot physically do the task of writing it because it's a humongous task. And I don't think anyone on earth is up to it. It's a daunting task. So Brahma says, okay, why don't you ask Ganesha? He can be your scribe. Why don't you request him? Which is exactly what Vedavyasa did. So he goes to Ganesha and says, can you please be my scribe? Ganesha says, yeah, I agree, but on one condition. And my condition is that there will be no pauses or gaps in your narration. When you dictate, it has to be without any breaks. If you're okay with that, then I can write. To which Vedavyasa says, okay, but I too have a condition. Whenever you write something, you have to first understand the meaning of the verses and then write. You cannot just blindly write down whatever I'm calling out. I need you to completely comprehend it and then write it down. Ganesha agrees to this. So thus begins the great task of composing the Mahabharata and recording it, writing it down. Vedavyasa sometimes deliberately used to complicate the verses a little bit. So Ganesha would have to pause for a few seconds to get the meaning and then continue writing. And that would serve as a breather for Vedavyasa, which he really needed. And in fact, in a couple of instances, he made his verses so detailed and so intricate that it took Ganesha a few hours to make sense of them. And Vedavyasa took advantage of these breaks, probably took a nap or a shower. So during this process of writing Mahabharata so fast with very few minimum breaks, the quill, the feather pen with which Ganesha was writing, suddenly snapped and broke. But Ganesha did not stop to even get up and go get another quill. Instead, he just broke off his tusk and used it as a pen or a stylus to keep on writing. And writing like this, it took him 3 years to finish writing the Mahabharata. Yeah, so some of you that are complaining about too much homework or too much to write, Ganesha has already written a lot more. And he holds this broken tusk in his hand, and it signifies that learning is forever. Reading and writing are forever. We are all lifelong students, not just those of us that are in school or college, but human beings. For human beings, the pursuit of sharpening the intellect, the pursuit of knowledge is a lifelong thing, and we must strive to keep at it. So moving on to the other hands of Ganesha. In one hand, he holds a rope, and that rope has a loop at one end tied with a knot. You know, the kind of lasso that the cowboys use? It's a noose at the end of the rope. So it's called the pasha. He holds that with one hand, and that shows that we must rein in our feelings, our thoughts, and keep them focused and not let ourselves get distracted. And in yet another hand, he holds an axe. An axe to cut out all the negativity, all those things that weigh you down, all the things that discourage, demoralize, and pull you down, all the negative and non-nurturing elements in your life that you don't need. Just cut it out, cut out all those influences, cut out all those thoughts, and stay positive, stay optimistic, and keep moving on. When we talk about Ganesha, we simply cannot skip talking about the Mushika, his mouse, Ganesha's vehicle. Now, one may ask, and I'm sure all of you at some point or the other have had this question, Ganesha is so big and bulky, but his vehicle is a mouse? How come? Lord Shiva has Nandi, the big bull, as his vehicle. Lord Mahavishnu has Garuda, the big eagle. Durga has a tiger, Amba has a lion, Subramanya has a majestic peacock as his vehicle. But why is it that only Ganesha has a tiny little mouse? Well, there is a story behind that too. It so happens that there was a Gandharva called Krauncha in Indra's court. Now, Gandharvas are a kind of demigods. They are typically very good looking, both men and women, and they are very, very talented. They usually are talented in the fine arts like singing, music, dance, poetry. So, Krauncha was also a typical Gandharva. He was very good looking and he was very talented. Now, the combination of these attributes, being very good looking and being super talented, makes the Gandharvas mostly very vain. They are proud and some of them are very full of themselves. And Krauncha was not an exception, he was like that too. It so happened that one day a sage by the name of Vamadeva visited the court of Indra and happened to have a conversation with Krauncha. And the sage felt that Krauncha was disrespecting him and he was insulting him in the way he spoke. So, what happens when sages feel slighted, when they are disrespected? Do they just let it go? Do they just forgive? Hardly. They are very quick to anger, and many of them just give out a curse, which is what Vamadeva did. He cursed Krauncha, saying, "It is because of your good looks that you're so vain and so proud. May you lose these good looks and turn into an ugly creature." And immediately, Krauncha became this tiny black mouse. He fell at Vamadeva's feet and cried, "Please, sage, please forgive me. Please take back your curse." But Vamadeva said, "I'm sorry, I won't be able to take back my curse. But I'll tell you this, you'll be good. The whole world will bow down to you." Krauncha could not understand this, and because he was now a mouse, he has to do things that mice do, which is making a mess, creating disruption, and all the things that a pest does. So Krauncha scurried into the ashrama of sage Parashara. And what happens when a mouse enters a well-kept place, a clean house, the pristine ashram of sage Parashara? So the mouse started running here and there, digging holes, making a big mess and stinking up the whole place. So all the rishis and munis in the ashram were clearly very upset with this, and they ran up to sage Parashara to complain. And on that day, Ganesha was actually paying a visit to the ashram and was actually in the midst of a conversation with Parashara. So these rishis came in and said, "Oh, we have this big mouse problem. So Ganesha, please, you have to help us. We are unable to carry on with our normal activities." Ganesha said, "Okay, let me take a look." So he comes and he witnesses this whole mess that Krauncha is doing. So he throws his noose, his pasha, the rope, and tries to subdue Krauncha. The moment the noose falls around Krauncha's neck, he becomes calm. He becomes free of all his evil and malicious activities, his thoughts, and his nature of creating disruption. He runs to Ganesha's feet and says, "My dear Lord, please bless me. Please accept me as your vehicle." Ganesha says, "Okay, if that is what you want to be, sure." And he proceeds to sit on Krauncha. And Krauncha says, "My God, please look at me. I'm a teeny tiny mouse. If you sit on me, how can I bear all this weight?" So Ganesha makes himself extremely lightweight. Imagine it's like an inflated balloon on top of a tiny mouse. So even though he is the all powerful, almighty Ganesha, for the sake of Krauncha, he makes himself very lightweight so his vehicle does not feel overburdened. So, to this day, whenever we bow down to Ganesha and we prostrate in front of Ganesha, Krauncha is also getting all our namaskaras and all our veneration. So, we talked about the broken tusk in one hand, the axe in one hand, and the rope, pasha, in the third hand. What is in the fourth hand? The fourth hand holds a laddu, a sweet treat. Now, Ganesha loves laddus and modakas. Modaka, or as we call in Tamil, korakate, which is the rice flour dumpling with some sweet stuffing inside. Ganesha loves those. So, what he's trying to tell us is yes, be focused on your goal. Yes, have this dedicated pursuit of what you want to achieve and where you want to be, cut out all the negativity. But don't forget to have a little sweetness in your life, not just in the form of edible treats, but also in the form of kind gestures and kindness and sweetness in your words, not just towards those around you, but also to yourself. So, Ganesha has lent himself to various forms of artistic expressions. He is the one God whom you can see. People feel really comfortable in depicting him in different forms as they see fit, as their bhakti wants them to. You can find idols and even toys of Ganesha playing cricket, Ganesha with his headphones on, singing Ganesha, a dancing Ganesha, and Ganesha reading a book, Ganesha strolling casually. So it shows that he has not kept his distance, and he's not a formidable God, even though he's so powerful and he's the Almighty. Still, he has come really close to us in that we feel very comfortable expressing our love and affection for him without any boundaries. So he is the one God who's really sought after. He's coveted by students for success in their tests and examinations. People pray to him for success in their career, for good health, for starting a new venture, for personal relationships, for everything. He's your go-to person. Whether your thing is fine arts or martial arts, pray to Lord Ganesha, and the Vigna Vinayaka will remove all the obstacles in your path, and the Siddhi Vinayak will make it happen for you, will make your dreams come true. So on this Vinayaka Chaturthi day, especially in the current climate with the COVID situation, it is especially hard for school and college going students. And let us say a special prayer for all our kids that are starting school this year. And may you have a successful and enjoyable learning experience this year. And all of you stay safe and stay healthy. May Lord Ganesha bless you amply with all his four hands. Thank you so much.